Hello, hello. Hi, everyone, and welcome to my abiding journal and to the monthly journaling club. Go ahead and say hello in the chat as people are hopping in here. We'll give everybody a few moments to join for the live stream, but I'm so excited to be here. It feels like it's been forever, even though it's really only been a little over a month because we, in fact, get together once a month. So I'm just going to check my sound here. Okay, yep, looks like there we go, it's working. So hi everyone, hi Marianne, hi Jeannie, hello. Yeah, please do share where you are tuning in from as well. Oh, you're so welcome for your happy mail. I'm so glad it got to you okay and that you are enjoying it. Hi Sarah, welcome, welcome. So yeah, Happy Mail is actually something that I don't advertise and share very much here on my channel, but little known fact, it's actually the fourth tier on my Patreon. There's a tier called Abiding Joy. And the best thing about that Happy Mail tier is that I get to send Happy Mail to all of my patrons who join that tier. Even if you're international, you can join. And essentially, when you join, I put together a little envelope of goodies from my own journaling stash and a thank you note, and I send it to you just as my way of thanking you for the amazing support. And then you, again, if you stay on that tier, will get another happy mail from me every July and January. So that is so fun. I love sending happy mail to you guys. Bree is here too, and she also got her happy mail. So glad that you love it. So you can join that tier at any time, and you can learn more about it on my Patreon. But like I said, it is the highest tier, which means you also unlock access to everything on Patreon. So it's a nice thing if you already are interested in kind of the abiding faith tier and interested in having all of the content to Patreon. If you join that tier, then you get everything plus happy mail from me. So yeah, I'm so excited about that. And Bree, oh, you're so sweet. Yes, asking about our book club because this is the one only place that I've advertised it. And so of course you're wondering like what's happening with the book club. Well, I'll give you a little sneak peek because I have pulled up here on my computer my little announcement that I'm going to be sharing soon for the Dear Diary Book Club, which will be a quarterly book club for journaling enthusiasts hosted by yours truly. And as you'll see if I can scroll, our first pick is going to be I Captured the Castle, and I've decided to do it for September and November. I just decided because I've just been so busy this summer and I was on the fence about doing it and everything. um, I just decided to do it quarterly along with the seasons. So, at least for me, what the seasons are. So, September, October, November to me is the fall season. So, that is going to be our fall pick. It starts more in the spring, but the book ends in October. So, I feel like it's still a good pick for fall and just good cozy vibes. So I think we'll all enjoy it for the fall season. And then we'll pick another book for the winter season, spring, and summer is the idea. So I will be announcing that more officially on my Patreon very, very soon. But it is going to be a 3-month thing. So even though we're already into September, you're not behind because you can kind of take your time reading it with us. Okay, let me see what else. No, we had not started. You did not miss anything because you're behind on videos. If anything, I'm the one who's behind in sharing it, and I'm also behind with just all of my all of my things on YouTube and Patreon, as those of you who are here and part of my Patreon are aware. I have some printables that I need to get out to you. Yeah, just a lot happening right now. I see Deb is here. Welcome. Oh my gosh, you're from Lancaster. Deb, that is where I work. And you found me through Get Organized. That's so fun. I'm so excited that you found us through the Get Organized All Access Pass, which is available now. If you didn't see my announcement on Patreon, I actually have somewhere hiding in here. This is kind of like something they sent me for like my marketing materials, but yeah, you might recognize that. I'm teaching a free class as part of the Get Organized HQ virtual. I have a whole post about it on my Patreon. You can check out the link in the description for more info, but essentially my class is, like a 30-minute class. I don't want to get you like totally excited. It's, like a quick session, but it's all over about my monthly journaling practice. And so it's about getting your memories organized, which is what we're going to be doing today. Deb, I work at the small liberal arts college in the area. So that is where I work. I try not to talk too much about like exact locations on YouTube just for privacy reasons, but I'm sure you'll know what I'm talking about when I say that. And if people did their research, they could figure it out too. But and if you've looked up my name, you probably could find it, but still. So yeah, so that is so fun that you're from Lancaster. I love Lancaster City and the surrounding area. So you probably, as I am journaling, will recognize some of the things that I talk about, like Bath, PA, that I talked about last July, and some other things that are unique to our area that pop up in my journal. So that's super fun. Yes, small world. Yeah, that's so fun. And I'm so glad you found me through the Get Organized. So if you're interested in taking my free class and then getting access to all of the other incredible women who are doing these organization classes and videos and tips, it's really actually quite impressive. Everything that is included in this Get Organized. I've been so impressed with the women who run it and their organization of it. Actually, one of the things they did, which was so cool, I'll show you, is they sent all of the people doing classes a little gift for participating, and it's a little bag with our whatever our logos are. I assume everybody else got one with their logo too, but this just showed up in the mail, and I was like just so excited by it. It made me so happy. So it's just like a little bag that I can keep my pencils or stickers or whatever in. So I just wanted to share that. I thought that was fun. But yeah, they're really great women who are running it, and there are so many other great creators and people that you might recognize if you're into any of the organizing space here on YouTube. I feel like I'm kind of the oddball out in the Get Organized HQ because they're trying to expand their horizons. But it's really, I think, cool that they're thinking outside the box and not just about, how you organize your closet, but all aspects of your life. So would recommend checking it out. And if you get the all access pass, then you can access all of the classes right now. And then you also get access to them for the rest of eternity, I guess. As long as the internet exists, you'll have access. Yes, merch for our journaling club has long been something that I want to develop. I just need to find a little bit more time in my days to make it all happen, but I am hoping one day to have some merch for you guys. All right, so yeah, go ahead, everyone. Hi, Donna. I see some more people jumping in the chat. So glad you all are here. Share where you're joining in from, share what you are drinking. This is cold tea that I have because it's actually sun tea that I made. Still keeping the sun tea strong, even though it's starting to feel a little bit like fall here in Pennsylvania, but I'm really loving still having the sunlight to make my tea at home. And yes, summer absolutely flew by. And speaking of which, today we are going to be documenting what I consider to be the last month of summer. And that, of course, is August. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the page to our blank page for our next month. If you are completely new to the Monthly Journaling Club, I should say, hi, my name is Kelsey Lee, And the idea here, as you can see, is that we are documenting our lives 1 month at a time. And so I have been doing this for multiple years now, and I do it personally all in one notebook. So this one journal has multiple years of my life already documented. I think we're on the third one at the moment, and we'll be on the fourth one very, very soon with 2026. And it's just been such a special practice for me and my creativity and ability to look back on my life. But what's been so wonderful is sharing the practice with all of you and inviting this entire community to also document your lives as part of the monthly journaling club. So that's what we do. We get together, we hang out, we chat, and we document the previous month. And today is going to be all about August. So I'm going to turn the page. My journal that I'm using is a Dingbat B5. If you're curious, I always have that linked in the description. And as the freebie that you get when you check out my class on Get Organized, you will get access to a PDF that has links to all of my favorite supplies for monthly journaling. And I can finally share this beauty, which is the Month to Remember prompt grid that I created. And I was very, very proud of myself because what I did is I came up with a, oh, what's that called? Oh, it's gonna bug me. I know I said it before. An Enneagram? Is that the right word? The word for when each letter of the word represents something else, another word. So I think that's right. So it spells out month. So we have M for moments, O for observations, N for notables, T for tasks, and H for hindsight. So basically looking back. And then there are 5 different prompts for each of those categories to help inspire you as you're reflecting on what it is you want to document for the month. So for moments, we have an anniversary, a birthday or milestone, or events you attended. Observations is like the little joys of the everyday, things you love about this time of year. Notables are favorites, like your favorite books or movies from the month, or a new discovery or product that you're enjoying. Tasks are something that you achieved and are proud of, or a main focus where your time and energy is going. And then hindsight is looking back and kind of being a little bit more reflective on things you learned about yourself from the month, what you're most grateful for, a word or quote to describe the month. Yeah, I guess acronym. That is accurate. What am I thinking with Enneagram? What am I thinking of? Oh, Enneagram's when it's scrambled, right? I don't know. Now I'm confused. Ignore me. It's been a long day. I had a long day at work and came home. My very sweet husband made me a BLT for dinner, so that was very nice. And I basically just quick ate it and then ran upstairs and started filming. So that's where I'm at today. But yeah, this is our month to remember prompt grid. And then on the back, there are even more prompts for you that kind of just are more long form, I guess, type of prompts to help inspire you. So things like who inspired or encouraged you this month and why, or what hobby, trend, or object shaped your everyday life this month, or how would you characterize the month overall? So there's literally 25 questions on the back. So somehow, some way, just with this one printable, you should be able to jog your memory and think of some things to document your month and make it one to remember. This is completely free. All you have to do is join my Patreon as a free member or up, and you'll get access to this and much more. Okay, so now we can jump into the fun part, which is documenting. And as many of you know, August was a big month for me because at the very end of July, we left for Peru. And so I have a collage that I made of our time in Peru, and I was kind of not sure what style I wanted to go with, so you guys can help me with that then. But for this page, I wanted to just have a big collage of our time in Peru and document it that way. And then eventually I hope to do some travel journal entries and more long form entries with bigger photos. But this is just a nice way to capture the highlight, which is the whole point of monthly journaling. And it's something I would recommend when you are traveling. If you have a big trip, you have a ton of photos from an experience and you want it to be included in your monthly journal, especially when it's an experience that took multiple days. In this case, it was almost half of our August. We were in Peru. So I wanted to create a collage that was just the main highlights in photo form of that experience. And so that's what I did. We have our time in the Andes Mountains and checking out the glacial lakes and doing our trek. We have Machu Picchu, and of course, getting to see this incredible citadel on top of the mountain. And then we also have, as you can see, our time in the Amazon with some of these amazing animals that we got to see. We went fishing, we caught piranhas. It was truly such an incredible experience. We had the best time. Highly recommend Peru as a country to visit. And as you can see, I kind of had a bit of fun with how I did this collage. Typically what I do is I make collages just as your basic grid format, and then a lot of times, sometimes I'll just put this on the page as is, but typically I'm cutting these apart then. And I always use the Pick Collage app, which I do, again, have linked in my monthly journaling resources PDF for you. But the whole idea is basically being able to cut out then the photos and have them as smaller photos. Whereas in this case, I don't plan to cut out these little hexagons, but instead for it to look as a whole image on the page, and that it's kind of telling the story in one photo. And this too, I just did in Pic Collage. This app is my best friend. I highly recommend it. You just dump all your photos in and then you can choose different layouts. And one of the options as I was messing around was to stick them all in these little hexagons. So I thought that was a fun and different way to style it. And then I added the letters to say Peru. And then I printed out one without the letters because I wasn't sure if I would want to write Peru outside of the photo or not. And I also wasn't sure if the black design would feel a little too stark with maybe the color palette that the rest of the page will have. So I'm not totally sure what direction we're going to go in, but that is a quick recap of how those came to be. And then I also have our bucket list that we're creating each month over on Patreon. And I went ahead and printed August and September together actually on the same page because I have so many photos. I wanted them to be smaller illustrations. It comes in all different sizes, so you can pick the one that works best for you and your journaling that month, or the planner size that you use. In this case, I wanted them smaller than I typically print them, so I just went ahead and printed 2 to a page. The September bucket list is out now, so you can print that out and start planning out your September. The entire idea is that you use these bucket lists not only to document your month after the fact, but that you also can use them to inspire yourself as you're planning your month and thinking about what it is you want to do in that month, and hopefully make it even more of a month to remember by trying to do some things that maybe you wouldn't have thought of otherwise or wouldn't have made the time for. Sometimes you just need a sticker that you know you're going to get to use in your journal to inspire you to actually do the thing. If you know what I mean, then you are a woman after my own heart and probably love journaling as much as I do sometimes. It's exciting to pursue an activity just knowing, ooh, this is going to be a great thing to document later. And you have the added bonus of it's usually a lot of fun in the moment too. So let's look at my August bucket list and think about what I did. So this: visit a field of sunflowers, take photos, and pick a bouquet for home. You can see I have documented here in these photos. Not necessarily sunflowers specific, but just a you pick flowers place because it was my best friend's baby shower this last weekend, and I was helping put it together, and I was in charge of the flower arrangements. So I went to this really nice You Pick Flowers farm. For those who are in the area, it's called, what's it called? Country Joy Flowers. And it was a really good price and just had so many beautiful flowers. I was very pleased with the options that I had and was able to just collect this huge bin. The photo is kind of early on in the process, but I filled that bin to the brim and then was able to make tons of little arrangements for the baby shower. I made one big arrangement for the baby shower. I had like 3 arrangements that I made just for myself at home. So definitely check out, if you are somebody who loves having fresh flowers in your home, would highly recommend checking out a You Pick Flowers place and going that route to have a bunch of fresh flowers. Oh, that's a good question, Deb, about comparable things to Pick Collage for Mac. I'll have to look into that because I didn't realize. I thought they have like a web browser that you can use, but maybe you have to download it. Just download on the App Store or get it on Google Play. Or try web editor. You could try that maybe. If you go on the pickcollage.com website, at the top it says support and FAQ on the right, and then it says try web editor. That may be an option. Collage. I'll just put it on the chat since I'm here. I guess that's to make more like cards. But they probably have blank canvas that you could do too and just add photos. Yes, that's what you want to do. Okay, I'm putting that in the chat now. Okay, you could try this photocards.ai/design. Seems like it's connected to Pick Collage, but is something that you can do right on your computer. So you could try that. Canva is also a good option to design things. It's not quite as intuitive, I feel, as Pick Collage in terms of just dumping photos in and then rearranging them. But it is another software that I use for pretty much everything that I design. So definitely other options, but Pick Collage is just the one that I've just been using for years and years and years. And I just end up doing it all on my phone when I'm making the collages. Oh no. I realized a bit too late that I was getting very close to chopping off her head, but I think we're okay. So I am gonna go ahead and trim these down, and I would love to know in the chat who all is working on their August month in review. And if you're not working on your August month in review, what are you working on? Are you working on a different month? Are you working on a different project entirely? I know some of you are still trying to catch up because you started a bit late but wanted to document the whole year. So some of you may be documenting some previous months. Okay. Unfortunately, it looks like my story graph reading wrap up for the month cut off half the books. Every now and then, the way that I size the photos gets changed when I go to print it, and then things are cut off, and I don't know why that is, because I read 4 books in August, but you can't see 2 of them, so I guess we will not be using that photo to document our reading. That's okay. And on Saturday, we had some fireworks that went off right in our neighborhood. It was nice because we got home from the baby shower and took the dog for a walk, and then fireworks started going off, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. That was something that they had been advertising. I kind of just thought we wouldn't be home for it because we had other plans. But then we were, and we got to see the fireworks on our walk. So that was quite nice. Belinda is working on August. Bree is. Oh no, you missed May. That's all right. You'll just have to squeeze it in. Yeah, you could do a page out of order, or you could always take a page from the back and then insert it into that spot. I feel like I would be very sillily anal about that and want it to be in order. So I'd probably like try and take a page and insert it in to document May, because it would otherwise bother me. Ooh, how fun. You're working on a travel journal, Sarah. Where did you travel to? I will have lots of travel journal videos, I hope, coming to you this fall and winter as I try to do a lot of travel journaling catch up with the many trips that we've taken, and I just haven't had the time to sit down and document them, but I really want to and plan to, so I just need to set aside some time. So I'm thinking we can have like a whole travel journal series and have some like tips and advice on how to catch up when you get behind, or when an event feels like, you know, it's long in the rear view mirror, but you still want to document it. All right, I think I almost cut them out all out. I swear one of these days I will be so well prepared in advance that all of these will already be pre-cut and you don't have to spend the first 10 minutes of our hangout watching me trim photos. But that is part of the process. It's a very important part of the process. So, all right. So you'll see that some of these I kept together and I grouped together purposefully in the collage because they are for like events. So our flower picking experience is here. And then these 3 photos are actually for a friend of Ben's birthdays. He had a party, and you might be able to tell if you're a Lord of the Rings fan that it was Lord of the Rings themed, and they had it on his parents' horse farm. So there were like these beautiful horses. I did my best to use a dress I already owned and pretend it was kind of elf-like. Ben, you know, put his suspenders on and called himself a hobbit. And then they had like the elven bread that Ben would be very ashamed of me for not remembering exactly what that's called right now. But yeah, it was just like a very lovely time, and people went all out in making it as Hobbiton feeling as they could. So that was fun. And then we have our baby shower for my friend. I got her this swaddle like wrap thing for the baby in Peru. She's all about that kind of stuff. So that was really fun to give to her. And then that's from the baby shower. We had a paella party. I counted, I think, in the last 2 weeks of August, after we got back, we had 6 parties slash gatherings that we went to. It was a bit much, but it was fun. But it was a lot. So yeah, we had that party, we had the paella party, we had this pool party slash gathering, we had my family's annual crab fest. We had, okay, that one is, the guys had a baby shower, and so they had a sign over the garage that said baby daddy party, and then they're all just in the garage in like little camp chairs, and meanwhile the women's party is like, you know, beautiful floral arrangements and like this incredible spread on the dining room table, and they're like eating out of a pizza box. It's just very funny, the contrast of men versus women. So anyways, that was fun. But yeah, lots happening. And then Ben's parents came over for his birthday, and we had a little fish fry this weekend in the backyard. So it was a lot happening. I am hoping for a slower September. Oh, you went to a small town in Germany. That's awesome. I've never been to Germany, but I would love to go. So many places. Yes, it has been a really busy summer, and catch up is hard. Janie, so many monthly pictures that we take during the month. How do you choose? Yeah, it's definitely hard. I am typically prioritizing photos that best represent an event or an occasion, is usually what I start with. And that typically feature people that I interacted with and who I love and are friends and family. I am always going to prioritize featuring people because I think ultimately that's who we most want to remember in our lives. I also am paying attention to obviously quality of the photo. Like sometimes I'll take, you know, who doesn't take a lot of food photos, right? We all take a stupid amount of photos of our food. But I find that a lot of times the food photos, when they end up being this small, it doesn't actually show it very well and is kind of difficult to tell what it is. So I do try to pick out photos that I think it will be easy to tell what it is and what it's representing, no matter how big or small it is. So that's definitely something I'm always thinking about. But yeah, I think it's ultimately just what is best going to represent a specific moment or occasion. So I definitely like to start with my list of things I know I want to document first, and then try to limit myself to 1, maybe 2 photos max to represent each of those items. And sometimes I will find that actually the best thing to represent something may not actually be a photo. It may be a sticker or an illustration. Sometimes that, like I said, is very true for, you know, things that I ate. Sometimes the illustrated version looks more appetizing than the actual photo of the food. Sometimes I like to do that for books that I read too, like doing more of an illustration of the cover can be fun. And for wildlife, now I happen to get some really great wildlife photos in the Amazon, but more often than not, a lot of the wildlife that I see, you don't get a great photo of. And so that is often something that rather than print out a blurry photo of a bird that I saw in the distance. I would rather look up that bird online and do an illustration of it, or print out that photo of the bird and use that in my journal instead of the one that I took. All right, so I'm just going to go through. I did grab the journal prompts from our August journaling kit. There are journaling kits for every month over on my Patreon, and I only have a few bits and pieces of the August one left because I did use so much of it last year, but it may be that I want to use it this year as well. We shall see. Oh, I do have like a recipe card. That would be fun because I did make a soup. And then I got out the annual celebrations printable, which is a freebie also on Patreon. I might want to use this birthday gratitude for maybe like things I'm grateful for about my husband since it was his birthday. And the most important thing that I grabbed it for is to get our title of the month. Okay, Deb is going through her August calendar and photos. Great. That is the perfect place to start to prep for monthly journaling. And it's just waiting for your journal from Amazon. I love that. Definitely highly recommend if you are watching this for the first time and are interested in monthly journaling. While it can be very tempting to just say, I'm going to wait until the start of a new year, which you certainly could do. We will welcome you at any time. You can join us in 2026. My encouragement is always going to be to start now and document the month that you are currently in. We don't know how much time we have on this earth, and you'll always be glad to have started now and to have these memories and the rest of this year documented, even if it's not the entire year. So we have our August, and let's see, yes, the Crab Fest is so much fun. That is an annual thing that we do with my dad's family. So it's just like a nice excuse to get together, and I don't know how the tradition started with us eating crabs, but at some point that was a thing, and now it continues to be a thing. Yeah, thank you. I'm so glad you like the photos from Peru. It was absolutely amazing. It was so good. It's like, it feels like a dream. It doesn't even feel like that time was real. Part of the only way I know it was real is because I have the photos to prove it, and I have the backlog of work to prove it. All the things I didn't get done while I was in Peru. But yes, you can count on it being expanded upon in future travel journaling, for sure. All right, so I'm a bit stumped, I have to say, of how I want to do this, because I feel like Peru needs to be center of attention over here. You know, I could even see like, I don't know, like decorating the whole page kind of around it and just really letting this truly be the center of attention on this side. And then just doing, because that was the beginning of August, because we were already in Peru as of July 29th. And then just do all of the other memories over here. Could work out. Because I feel like, I mean, obviously I could put other memories over here too. but I feel like it takes away then from the emphasis that I want to put on Peru. And I do have the travel diaries collection that we created together, which could be like, I could back it with like some maps, and then I could use some of these big like travel focus stickers. I think I'm leaning towards that. I think I want to do just like almost a scrapbook style page on the left, and then we'll do our standard monthly journal style of just being like a collage of all the things on the right side. And I did see the comments, and it sounded like most of you think I should go with this version instead of the green version, which I agree. I think this one does look better, and then the title's built in and fun. And then I'll just give Ben this photo and he can stick it in his office. All right, so let me think about what we want to use here. I don't think any of these maps necessarily have South America in them, which is fine. It doesn't need to be, you know, that level of accurate, but we can just kind of use pieces of them. I kind of like this one because it says map of the world. But then this one feels kind of city-esque, like being in Cusco. So I'll just cut them out and play around sometimes is the best way. You just have to try things. So Peru was definitely my big highlight. I mean, there was a lot of, August was so busy, as I just told you. So there's a lot of highlights from the month, but certainly nothing beats our trip to Peru. But I would love to know what your highlight from August was. So go ahead and leave that in the chat if you're willing to share a little bit. If you're watching this after the fact, you can also leave a comment. Yeah, that definitely makes sense for you, Sarah. You had your trip to Germany, and that's awesome that you're already documenting it. I think that's the hardest thing about traveling is actually making the time to document it as soon as you get back, because it just becomes harder and harder the further the trip becomes in your rear view mirror to actually make it happen. But good for you. All right, I'm gonna cut these out and we'll see. I don't know yet if this is the style that I want to go for, but we won't know until we try. Because I also feel like I want to use some like of the big flower stickers that I have, like botanical stickers, kind of for like the jungle feel, the Amazon. Yeah, I have a lot of respect for people who document their travels on their trips. I don't know how people do it. I guess maybe they have more relaxed travel experiences than I do. I am not a relaxed traveler. We are the kind of travelers who like fill every moment of our days and book red eyes and don't know what sleep is for the entire time that we are away. So the idea of like just going to a cafe for a whole afternoon and journaling about your experience sounds lovely, but it's just not the way that we travel. So I admire greatly those who can do it, and that is the way they travel. But for me, traveling and journaling about it is always going to be things that are separate. The travel experience, I'm like fully present, I'm there, and the only way that I'm quote unquote journaling is by taking notes in my phone so that I can remember the highlights and the things I want to document from that day. But I don't do any actual physical journaling when I'm traveling. Okay, so what I'm thinking is we could have like, this is Machu Picchu, and these are the mountains. And so then I could do, I don't know, do I want like, I love being here with you? Or kind of like the travel, it leaves you speechless, then turns you into a storyteller. Or this one's really nice, the travel far enough you meet yourself. I welcome opinions. I think I want something that's kind of a big statement. Hi, Alma. You're not too late. As you can see, I haven't made much progress. The travel one, Janie, you're gonna have to be more specific. They're all about travel. Okay, let me see. I'm doing lots of digging, trying to find some like old, I thought I had some like map paper or something, but I never know where anything is. So in the meantime, we can look at, this is the sticker book I was thinking of that I could do maybe some like backing stickers that feel jungle-y, like this one feels very jungle feeling. Oh, that's so fun. Well, I did record a whole video of our time there, so eventually, if ever I get around to editing and then documenting, that is something that I'll be sharing. I'm kind of over, you know, I know YouTube doesn't really care for my travel vlogs because it gets outside of my lane and they don't like that, but for me it's what I enjoy. It's a part of my life, and so I'm still gonna share it. Okay, good. I'm glad it's the one I cut out already, so I'll use that then. Okay, I'm getting overwhelmed by all my things everywhere. Yeah, I just want to do, oh, here we go. This is what I was looking for. Rainforest, that category is perfect. So what I'm thinking is I can just kind of build a collage in the background. And then I'll trim these all back. Rip that one, but that's okay. So I might just use sorry about the reflection on the photo. I feel like it's annoying. Okay. I mean, I could almost do like rainforest, almost this half, and then more like mountain vibes at the top to kind of juxtapose the two different areas that we were in. Okay, let's move all of these photos out of the way so they don't overwhelm me as much. Okay, there we go. There we go. That. Sometimes when you flip to the other side, it's a little bit easier to see if there's any sticker that's still hanging over the edge. So now we have a nice clean edge. And this is a good kind of design tip is, you know, I think we're hesitant to waste stickers. So we don't think to put them off of the edge and trim it, but that actually can be a nice way to just add more of a designed and intentional look to your page. by putting them off the edge, and then it kind of feels like they're like coming out of the border. All right, now we'll just add some like little bugs. Gotta have a spider because it is the Amazon after all. We will put him down here. This just feels like I'm playing like you did as a kid with sticker books, you know? Just like picking all the stickers out and just putting them all over the page. All right, let's see. Like, I'd be putting this like here. Well, I'll have to remember to use the giant lily pad when I do the travel journal, because they have the largest lily pads in the world. You can find only in the Amazon, specifically, I think maybe only in that area of the Amazon, like in Iquitos where we were. So that was cool. I don't like that one. Okay. Now I have to find and figure out how I want to do more of like the mountains. So I could also, I could do like this. I should kind of like that. I'm just gonna put this down so I can't second guess myself. Okay, so then we have Machu Picchu. And then I'm thinking up here we'll put probably the mountain. Maybe what I'll do is trim this, and then I think I'm gonna actually put it under. So maybe I shouldn't have put this down so soon, but that's okay. Let's put this under here to just kind of help with the stark line. And then we have the map of the world. What I could do is actually put this one up here. I want to cover up Australia because this is not about Australia, but I want to give the look of the map. So I think that could work. Yeah, I love travel vlogs too, and run into the exact same problem where it just gives you more inspiration of all the places you want to go. And there's only so much time, so much paid time off, and so much money is probably the biggest deterrent. We try to travel, pretty budget friendly, but no matter what, plane tickets aren't cheap. Okay, and then this will go across there. So we need some more. And then we do need to put this somewhere, so we'll have to think about that. Could be like up here. Let's see if I have maybe like mountainy photos or something, because I could use, I have this is like a postcard I got at a craft fair that they were giving out for free, but I could trim it, like just peel off the design so that it's flatter. Just like a good way to, when something is extra thick, if you don't want it to be extra thick, a lot of times you can just peel off some of the layers and trim it down that way, because this actually gives a nice mountainy look. Potentially. Now it's like extra thin. So again, we're just kind of going for very collage style look, mixing all of these different elements that feel like connected in some way to our experience. Hi Susie, I'm so glad you have already finished your spread, it sounds like, and it turned out so good. We, if you're not already familiar, have a chat on our Patreon for the monthly journaling club where many of you choose to share your entries and what you're working on. So I would encourage you to consider putting it over there so that we can see it and get to celebrate how awesome it turned out. I'm so glad you enjoy the format. Okay, what am I doing here? Now I'm trying to figure out how I fit this in here. So then I was like moving it over, but I think I still want it centered. Maybe I could put this like here. could work like that. And then this is gonna go across there. Yes, highly recommend. I'm so glad Peru's on your bucket list. It is amazing. This, and then I could do some more layering. Okay, let's put this down at the top. And then, well, maybe what I'll do, I feel like we need something here. But what it could just be, oh, you know what it could be? It could just be like washi tape. So I have somewhere a map washi. Yes, here it is. You could just put this up here. I don't know if it turns into, it's like Guatemala, Mexico, and then Russia and China. So, but we should probably do this portion because at least this is like the Americas. Is what I'm thinking. Yes, exactly, Deb. It is exactly that. It's just your personal highlights reel for the month in a journal. And it makes it creative and fun. But like you said, it's doable because it's only once a month. And you're not trying to keep up with a whole ton. Just 1 month. Yeah, I feel like once you start doing it, it's hard to go back to anything else. Like I've thought about, oh, would I ever want to try daily journaling again? And I don't know, I just feel like I can't imagine being in a season right now where that feels manageable. But I still want to document my life, and this makes it manageable. And even when I do fall super behind with my other forms of journaling, like my travel journaling, it is not the complete end of the world if I end up saying, oh, well, I'm just not going to document that vacation or travel in my travel journal because I still have all the photos, and I still have the main highlights documented in a physical format through my monthly journal. I might want to put, I already put stuff down here, but just to bring the page together a bit more, I'm going to put, the nice thing about these stickers is that they lift up super easily, so it's easy change your mind. The bad thing about these stickers is they lift up really easily. So then you pretty much have to go back and like reinforce them with glue, which isn't a huge deal. I'll just have to do that then. But is worth noting if you are interested in the botanical sticker book. But I am going to go through and back because it just helps bring a little bit more consistency to the page. It's kind of like that through line of it's a hot mess and there's stuff all over the place, but you have this base that you can see through the entire spread. I kind of like layering it too, where you can see the leaf poking through the washi. It's not over top of it. Well, I like that a lot, Sarah. That's a great quote. Journaling because of inspiration, not obligation. Indeed. We journal because it's fun. It's a creative outlet. It lets us document our memories, not because we feel that we have to. Okay, great. Let's get our August on here. All right, stay down. Okay, we're getting close. Sorry for the glare, but it's getting close. So I think we'll probably put this all right, I'm gonna try. I wish I had not cut it so close because I would prefer the look of ripped edges. But I didn't give myself a lot of room for ripping because I cut it really close. There we go. Just gonna eyeball what center looks like. looks pretty good to me. All right, we just need to fill in some of these spaces. I'm gonna put my mountains here. Bring it back in this washi, again, is that through line. And I do encourage you to, every now and then, consider stepping outside of the box and your typical comfort zone with how you document the month. And something like this is a good opportunity to do that. It's very easy to fall into a rhythm, and I'm very much a proponent of do what works and keep doing it. And that's typically what I do. Like, my style is very similar every single month, but every now and then I like to just do something a little bit out of the box, a little bit out of the ordinary, that switches up my style and keeps things interesting. And I feel like this is like a good example of that. I don't normally do full-on collage like this, like all the layering, but I'm having a lot of fun doing kind of a different creative process, and it's getting me out of my comfort zone of my boxy collage style of just creating, you know, a big conglomeration of all the things that happened. All right. I think I'm definite enough about this stuff now that I can just put the extra glue down, because otherwise I'm going to keep playing with it, trying to get it to stick down. Okay. And my hands are all sticky. All right, let's see if there are any others. From this that we might want to throw on here. We have the passport, the world, plane ticket. The plane ticket could be good because we took a stupid amount of flights. And actually, we ended up only having one layover to get there, which was wonderful. But basically, when you go to Peru, you have to go through Lima to get anywhere. And because we were going both to Cusco to do the Machu Picchu and Salcantay trek, and to Iquitos to do the Amazon, and really the only reasonable way to get to those two different locations is to fly. We had to fly from our home to Atlanta to Lima, then Lima to Cusco, then Cusco back to Lima, then to Iquitos, then to Iquitos to go back to Lima to then go home. Anyways, it was a whole lot of flying. We were on a train, we were on buses, we were on taxis, we were on boats. We covered every mode of transportation on this trip. Ooh, I should use the Wonders of the World. Maybe to put next to the Machu Picchu. And I mean, the Amazon, I think, should be a wonder of the world. I don't think it officially is, but... So it could be like putting that there. I'll put this more down here to help with the transition. We were there for, I think, 12 days total. So it was, we were moving around a lot. The Amazon, we stayed the same place 3 nights because it was an eco lodge up the Amazon River, 2 hours by boat. But otherwise, we were in Cusco for 2 nights, and every other night we were in a different location because we were doing a trek. So every night we stayed somewhere different as we were doing the trek and getting closer and closer to Machu Picchu. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of this on this side as well. And then I feel like I need something that's going to represent more of like trekking. I could do like a point A and B and then a line. Like I could almost do it from the mountains to Machu Picchu because that's kind of what we did. I think you all signed up for a monthly journal with me, but you got a travel journal with me instead. Because I don't know how much we're even going to get to all the other fun memories from the month. But that's okay, because I think this is the fun this is the fun side. The other side is going to be more basic and just my typical plop down the photos in a fun order, and then we would, of course, go ahead and write the captions and all that for them, but it'll be pretty standard. I could put this building on here too. I feel like this building is supposed to be something specific, but it kind of just looks like a pretty church, and I feel like it would be good to represent Cusco. And the Plaza de Armas is kind of the center of Cusco where all of the beautiful churches are. So it could be like, put this here. There. Okay, and then I have two more of these little location icons. So what I'm thinking is I can do one for Cusco, one for Salcantay, which was kind of, that's what the trek is named after, the Salcantay mountain that you go through the pass underneath Salcantay. So that was pretty big landmark on the trail. And then we'll do one for Machu Picchu, and then we'll do one for the Amazon as kind of the big locations where we were. And then maybe I'll do like a sketchy handwritten note of the locations as a nice fun summary. And then what I might do too actually is put that down. No, okay, that there. I think I might put this one here, and then I have these little bungalows that are over the water. Now, we did not have a bungalow on the water, but we did stay in kind of like these little rainforest bungalows. So I feel like I could just cut one of those out and stick it down here, like it's in the rainforest. And that will be our eco lodge stay. I like how the lodge is smaller than the spider. That is fun. That is a great question, Sarah. Were the bugs bad and did I get bitten a lot? And Ben would be laughing to know that somebody asked that question because I was so paranoid, so paranoid about the bugs because whatever blood type attracts mosquitoes, I have it. I am one of those people. I can't sit out in my own backyard without getting bit. It is very unfortunate because I love being outside and the outside does not love me. So I was so nervous about going to the Amazon, and I also read a lot about people having a hard time at the lower elevations of the trek with getting bit by bugs. And so I brought an arsenal of different options for bug repellent. I brought the little bracelet things that I'm not convinced work very well, at least for me. I brought so much because I was so nervous. I even sprayed all my clothes before we left with permethrin, I think it's called, just because I was so nervous about getting eaten alive and then it ruining our trip. And I have to tell you, I think I had maybe one mosquito bite the entire trip. And I didn't even, other than doing the spray on my clothes before I left, I did not really apply repellent when I was there. I didn't have to do anything really. It just was not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Now, granted, I did wear long sleeves and long pants almost the entire time, which I do think helped a little bit because there was at least one other woman that we were trekking with at one point who did get bit in the one area when I didn't. So praise God. But I still think they just weren't as bad as I thought they were gonna be. And then I got home and got far more bug bites here in Pennsylvania than I did in the Amazon. So that is, I'm grateful that it didn't happen there, but also I was very annoyed that I get worse bug experiences here in my own home country. South Central PA. Yep, South Central PA feels more like the Amazon, or what I imagined the Amazon would be like than the actual Amazon. And okay, this is really bad, and I don't know if this is like normal at all to not know, but I don't know my blood type. And I feel like I should. But I don't know what it is. So am I the only one who doesn't know their blood type? Maybe I should try and talk to my primary care physician about that next time I have a checkup. Yeah, and normally Ben does not get, there's always kind of one in every family who gets super attacked, and then the other person is just like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's totally fine out here. All right, I just need like a little something, and I don't want it to be more of this. I feel like it needs to be different to fill these little white spaces. I'm trying to think like what else would be fun and representative. I wish I had an alpaca sticker. That would be fun. But I don't think I do. He's kind of fun. I don't think I'm gonna use him, but it's funny what you discover sometimes when you go through your stuff you haven't looked at in a while. Let's see, this outdoors. I feel like I need like a hiking boot or thank you, Deb. You're so sweet. I have this map from Olympic, which if you haven't seen my travel journal entry from Olympic, would encourage you to check that out. But it has this mountain in here, so I could cut that out and like stick it in. Is what I'm thinking. And then it kind of has the transition built into it of going down elevation, which is similar. I'm just going to cut that part out. Okay, and maybe we can use this. I always find when I'm doing collages like this that just tearing things just makes it feel, I don't know, more collage like. I don't want this to go too low. Yeah, maybe it could be like that. I quite like it. And then we can just add it over here as well. I think it's perfect. Okay, let's try and indicate where I want to cut this. Okay. So you can always save things like that, like the Olympic map. I had more than one. One you will have seen if you watched my travel journal with me for Mount Rainier and Olympic. I put the map into my travel journal and did like a fun fold out thing with it. But I got another one just because I loved the images in the map and figured at some point I would love to use those images in my journal for something else. And it doesn't even have to do with Olympic, but you know, there are mountains all over the place. And there are different mountains that I knew I would want to go and see in the world. And so I could just pick out that image to document something completely different. And so there are free things like that all over. You just have to look for them. There are just so many free things that you can use in your journaling. So I'm just always encouraging you to look for those when you're traveling, when you're out and about, even like things that show up in your mail, junk mail, and the like, sometimes have really pretty images on them. And so you just have to look at them through that lens. And before you throw it away, just ask, is this something I would maybe want to save and use in my journal? Okay, I think we covered all the white space. And then we can just put this over the top. I do feel like there's the teeniest bit. I know this is so silly. You're like, there's barely anything there, but if we're gonna make it a full-on collage and cover up all the white space, then we need to do it right. Okay, now it's all covered. So what do you think? Should I just put it on like this, or do you think I should round or do the decorative edge to the corners? The blue goo glue stick. Oh, I think I had that like forever ago. And I should get a new one. But I'm glad you're enjoying it. Okay, we have a vote for rounding corners. Janie says as is. So we've got, I need somebody for a tiebreaker. So I have round corners like this, or I have a like decorative corner if we think that would make it blend in more. Yeah, that is true. Everything else it's more organic. It's not let me try the decorative. I'm gonna do that. Just gotta commit. Creative memories, I know, right? Are they still around, or are they RIP? Yeah, I think that it makes it blend just that teensy bit more. But ooh, this is so fun. Okay. Let's glue it down. have to say I'm I'm quite impressed with how this came together because I when I first started, I was like, "Oh, I do not know that this is gonna match the vision I have in my head." But it got there, and I feel like that's the way collage always is. It eventually gets there somehow. And yeah, this is so fun. Okay, it is still around. That's good to know. Should I put the Wonder of the World on or no? I feel like I kind of prefer it without the extra words, so that this and Peru are the only words other than, of course, August. But I do want to write, I think, like I was saying, kind of a scratchy scrawl of the places. I don't want it to stand out super ton. I kind of want it to be like hidden in there. So we'll see how. I'm gonna try and do it with this micro perm pen from Sakura, which is permanent on most surfaces, since some of these are like glossy stickers and the like. Okay, so let's see, we'll do Cusco first. Cusco. Open tie. It's not turning out quite how I envisioned, but it's not bad. So we'll continue to write. Machu Picchu. And then the Amazon. Okay. Cool. I think we're going to call that done for our Peru at a glance collage. That right there is our trip to Peru in August. And so fun that we kind of tell the story of our trip to Peru all in images. Obviously, we have the words for the places that we went. We have a fun quote about travel, but otherwise, it's all images from the trip itself, but then also images that represent the places that we were, from up in the mountains to in the city of Cusco to Machu Picchu. And then we have, right, all these Amazon plants and some of the, flora and fauna and bugs. uh, yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. So fun. So I hope that it inspires you to also try something a little different with your month in review entries. Just because we kind of are at our typical ending time, try and keep these to 2 hours. I think I'm just going to stop here, having done the big focal point for the month being Peru. And then I am going to finish up the rest of the journal entry over on this side, and I will share the completed look of the entire page all together. On my Patreon, I always share the finished spread with you all in our group chat, so you can look for it there. I actually think, though, I did not post July yet, so I should do that, and then I'll post August. But yeah, this was such an incredible trip, and it was so fun to document it in literally one page with all of you. So even if you aren't into the idea of monthly journaling, feel like travel journaling, full spreads is too much, maybe you would want to try taking a trip that you went on and distilling it down into one page. Thank you so much to everybody who joined me in the chat. It was so fun to chat with you and just get to hang out. I really enjoy this time together. Thank you all for your patience on Patreon and on YouTube. I know it's been a long time since my last kind of real video, and there are some printables that are still owe to you. So thank you for your patience. I promise everything is coming. It's just been a crazy season with travel, obviously, but also work has been really crazy. So I just appreciate you all and your patience, and I look forward to spending more time with you very soon. And I'll see you for our next monthly journaling club hangout. But until then, keep exploring your abiding creativity and document a life abiding in faith, hope, and love.